feel the power of the kingdom. Now you feel the power of feel the power of the kingdom. Now you feel the power of the kingdom. Now you feel the power of feel the power of the kingdom.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Woo. '19, man. It's 2019. January 3rd. Good to have you along with me, Jesse T. The Brown Beauty is back on duty. It's 2019, January 3rd in Southern California, all across this great nation and God's blue-green earth. It's good to have you on the air and everywhere with me, from the community to the world. It's the Jesse T. Show.
Now you feel the power of the kingdom.
Absolutely, my friends. Good to have you along with me. We are back on duty together, you and me, together forever. Hey, all right, that's the way I like it to be. 2019 is going to be a great year. I've got my hot chocolate brew right here. Going to take a sip for you. And a sip for me. Very good. Thank you very much. Today we got a great topic we're going to be talking about because it is in the news. It seems like it never leaves the news. And I got to talk about it because, I'm a fighter against this topic that what I'm going to be talking about. I am one of those warriors of the street when it comes to what we're going to be talking about today. And so I want you to participate with you can. Saying hi to Salvatore Rhodes and Jasmine Espada. What a great public relations expert she is. If you ever have an opportunity, you need some good public relations. I want to give my girl, Jasmine Espada, a Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, and give her the props she needs. She has got to be one of the hottest public relations entities in 2018. And I know it's going to carry over into 2019. We love working with her here on the Jesse T. Show because she provides a lot of great guests for us, directors and writers. She specializes in Latino and Hispanic projects, but she also cross-references to anything that's quality. You need a quality public relations expert, one of the hottest youngsters in the business. Yeah, Jasmine, you're a youngster when it comes to Jessie T. And she's just terrific. So look her up. You can Google search her. Spada Public Relations, absolutely the best. And we love the people that work with her. Camille is one of her best agents, I guess you can call them, or associates. And we just love that. Hey, saying hi to our friends over there on Instagram. Right on, brother. Hey, good to have you along. Saying hi to, I got to get the trusty Sherlock Holmes glass out because that's a little small for me. Saying hi to J Letona. I hope I got that right, man. I didn't mess it up too bad. Good to have you along with me, Jessie T, here on the Jessie T Show. Well, we have had a lot of fun over 2018, and it is going to continue this year. We've got some great things in store for you. First off, I would like to talk about our sponsors real quick. Our sponsors are Win, 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 and we're going to do it the old-fashioned way with a good old-fashioned business card. Excuse me, Win, Win, Win. That's right, that's a real estate firm. I'll give it to you right here, guys. Win, Win, Win. You can get in touch with them at 800-684-8699, 800-684-8699. If you need some good real estate advice, some counseling, you need an expert, you give them a call at Win, Win, Win here in Southern California. They do loans, they do real estate, and they notarize as well. That's 1-800-684-8699. Their website is www.mrsold. Got it? www.mrsold.com. Got it? www.mrsold.com. There we go. www.mrsold.com. They're one of our sponsors here. Win, Win, Win. 1-800-684-8699. Look them up. They're terrific. Lots of knowledge. Probably collective over 100 years of real estate knowledge. Also like to talk about another sponsor we have coming on board here. We're looking to bring on a car manufacturer here. I can't talk about it, but what we're looking to arrange this year, you have to subscribe at YouTube on our subscriber channel. It's free and a membership. I want you to go to YouTube channel, Jessie Terrero, and you subscribe there, become a free member. We're going to do 2 unique promotions this year. I'm working on right now on attaining a property for sale, a house, in which everybody will put up maybe $50 or $25 or $100. And at the end of the year, I'm going to hold a big event, celebration here in Southern California, and we're going to give that house away to somebody for the $50 or $25 or $100 that they put up when they originally bought a ticket. So just think about that one a second. Is that cool or what? Yeah, man, that's what we're going to do. We're arranging that right now, talking hopefully to some brand new housing developers for that reason. Because what we want to do is we want to get you guys a new house this year. We want you, everybody, to have a house. I mean, isn't that what it's supposed to be about, the American dream? We're also talking to a car manufacturer and a car company for the same type of a promotion. So we've got that coming up. But what you have to do, you have to join our membership and subscribe at Jessie Terrero on YouTube. YouTube, Jessie Terrero. You have to subscribe. You'll see all of our shows. There's about 600 or 700 downloaded now. I've got about 10 or 15 to download tonight, which I'll be doing. And some great shows and great guests. So, we're on the air and everywhere. We're all about getting out there into town. And this year, we're going to not only be having these great promotions, but we're also going to be giving away T-shirts and hats and some cool wear like that. and we also have some tickets, and I think this is going to be a lot of fun. Saying hi to Dwayne Knight, who has us on Instagram Live at Jesse Torero. Thanks a lot, Dwayne. Appreciate that. One of the cool things is that we do a lot of premieres. We do a lot of first A-lister premieres, red carpets, award shows, a lot of charitable causes, some really cool places that Dan the Man, my sidekick, and I get into, and we want you to be a part of that. So we're going to start inviting a winner to be a part of some of those things, so you can actually meet Hugh Jackman. You can actually meet Ben Mendelsohn. You can actually meet the great boxer Benny Urquidez. You can actually meet some of these great actresses and great actors and VIPs and celebrities like Fred the Hammer Williamson or Hank Garrett, or you can actually meet Robert Downey Jr., Hal Linden, Louis Gossett Jr., Lou Ferrigno, and some of all the great young stars too out there. So we're going to be doing that promotion, and we want you to go to our YouTube channel and sign up and become a free member. Okay, subscribe. Today we're going to be saying hi to R.J. Johnson and Louis Banks. Hey, Louis Banks, how you doing, man? Hey, Happy New Year to you, and God bless you too, brother. Appreciate that very much. What we're going to be talking about today is something that's near and dear to my heart, guys. Now, many of you who have been following the Jesse T Show for a number of years know something very special that we do here, and that is I've been fighting human trafficking here in the Southern California area for going on about 10 years right now. Yes, the Jesse T Show, right there, you can see our expert graphic right there. Don't you just love it? The Jesse T Show is a big proponent in fighting human trafficking. And you want to check that out, you can go to our human trafficking fighting site, the Coalition Against Human Trafficking on Facebook.com. And we post up a lot of these disgusting, sick, deviant perverts. We post up the ones that have been arrested, the ones people are looking for. We post up articles on how to fight this. And that's, we kind of laid a little quiet in 2018. I was developing some new ideas. Let me give you a little history of myself when we are, hey, hola, hey, saying hi to Majori Acevedo. Hey, how you doing? Major Acevedo, thanks a lot. Hola, good to have you along. Andrew Finelli. Let me give you a little background of who I am in terms of human trafficking. I grew up in Burbank and Sun Valley, California. That's a suburb of Los Angeles and Hollywood, for those of you who don't know. It's the San Fernando Valley. And there was an area, it's Lankershim Boulevard and San Fernando Road. You can look this up on Google search. And it was known as the Lankershim Corridor. Now, when I was a little boy, I used to have to go by this area and go to school, because I went to Village Christian School in Sun Valley up until 9th grade. Then I went to Byrd Junior High School, and I graduated from Poly High School, going on to my college football, wrestling career, and boxing, and on from there into communications and business. But my mother used to tell me, don't talk to anybody when you go through this area, this stretch where Lankershim and San Fernando Road was. And I would listen to my mother, of course, and I wouldn't talk to anybody. But eyes wide open, little boy, I saw what was going on. San Fernando Road here in the San Fernando Valley is known as Highway 99. It's an interstate highway. You can take it feasibly all the way to San Francisco and all the way to San Diego. Primarily, though, the main crux of the highway was between Los Angeles and San Francisco, the two biggest cities. The railroad tracks there that are adjacent to San Fernando Road were laid by Union Pacific back in 1867. The state of California became a state of California in 1843 to 1847, when, of course, this part of the United States was acquired by Mexico and the treaty signing of the Treaty of Guadalupe, Guadalupe Hidalgo at Cahuenga. And that was the Mexican-American War. In 1867, the Union Pacific laid down the railroad track that went from Los Angeles, or San Francisco being the big city, down to Pueblo de Los Angeles, which was growing very quickly because of the harbors and the weather, and was more south. than San Francisco. And they also found gold down here too, as well as they did up in Northern California in 1843. Now, this was a dirt road, and when vehicles became the main mode of transportation, products, goods, and services, trucks, this was a dirt road. 99 was a hard-packed dirt road. Then it became an asphalt road, and it followed the railroad tracks because that's where all the warehouses were. And accordingly, the restaurant, little truck stops, truck gassing places, truck mechanic places, motels, and all this. And of course, the little restaurants and all that stuff. And what followed that were prostitutes servicing the truck drivers. I mean, that's just the way it was. And that systemic problem was around for about 100 years. And over the years, it got worse and worse. And in the 1960s and 70s, my mom told me not to, just walk right past it and just ignore it and keep your eyes open, but don't do anything. Just walk past it. So I did. Well, I grew up in Sun Valley and Burbank, and as I got older, I got my real estate broker's license, and I started selling a lot of real estate in Sun Valley and Burbank areas. I grew up in the horse property area of Shadow Hills and Stonehurst. It's kind of my home ground. And got involved in local community politics, got involved in the graffiti cleanup, got involved in youth charity work and helping the youth play baseball and football and swimming and all those things. Became a free and accepted Mason, a Freemason. I got involved in the community and charitable events, cleaning up trash, cleaning up alleys. Over the years, going way back to the late 1970s, early 1980s, up until even today, I still do that stuff. So one day, my father, in the house that I grew up in, some really bad people moved in next door. My dad was in his 80s then, some really bad, disgusting people moved into the vacant house next door. And they were running drugs, running pit bulls, running cockfights, running chop shops, selling crack, meth, shooting heroin, prostitution, gangs, trash, 20 tons of trash they put out of this place when they finally got it sold. Finally, my dad couldn't put up with it anymore, and he finally asked me to help out. Now, my dad's a strong, positive, wonderful, proud Italian Spanish man, and he didn't ask for my help till he really needed it. So I helped him clean this up. In cleaning that up, I found out that a lot of these prostitutes were being ferried over by their pimp who was in a wheelchair, who was not actually a pimp in a wheelchair. He was a guy acting like he was in a wheelchair who was a pimp. And he was ferrying them over from the Lankershim corridor, Lankershim and San Fernando Road. So I went over to a place there. I'd been in business there for about 60 years, and I asked the proprietor, a lady who I'd known for a long time, who I don't do business with anymore for a variety of reasons, but nevertheless, she had been fighting this problem with her father going all the way back in the 1950s, and so they used to have the prostitutes hang out and bother their customers and flash their customers going into this rental yard that they own. And so I got fed up with what happened to my father next door, and I said, that's it. So I went over to this particular business, and I said, give me all the information you have over the last 40 years of you been fighting this problem, this prostitution problem. And that's where I started. So I found out that a couple of things. One, the prostitutes weren't adults. The prostitutes were 12, 13, and 14-year-old little girls and boys. I also found out that the state of California, the judicial system in LA County and LA City, didn't see prostitutes as victims. They saw them as part of the problem. Well, how can a 12, 13, or 14-year-old child be part of the problem? I used to ask that question a lot. Then I found out that they were shoving it under the covers. LAPD, the local politicians, were shoving it under the covers. Then I found out that the business owners and the homeowners in the area just kind of threw their hands up in the air and waved them like they just didn't care anymore. I mean, how many times can you fight a pimp who's having his prostitutes do sexual acts in front of your house because you have a dark street, and use condoms, and your grandchildren and your sons and daughters find these used condoms and needles too? How many times can that happen and you'd be threatened by the pimp? Okay? So most of the pimps were black. They weren't Latinos. Now, most of the pimps have become Latinos, MS-13, and the Mexican gangs have found that this is a very lucrative way to make money. But about 10 years ago, most of the pimps were black. And they were shoveling these girls from central Los Angeles up there. Most of the prostitutes and the boys and girls were black. Black little boys and black little girls. Very rarely were they any other color. Now, I say that because there's a transition that took place. And that transition now is the gangs. MS-13 has kind of inherited this new business strategy in the last 4 or 5 years. Not in the Lankershim corridor, because ultimately we cleaned it up. But this is what it was like. And they were threatening the homeowners and the business owners. So Jesse T, in my infinite wisdom, being Jesse T, I can't help but being me, I decided to start threatening the pimps. See, I didn't live in the neighborhood, okay? They couldn't come and threaten my wife or threaten my husband or threaten my daughter or threaten my son or threaten my father or grandfather or threaten my significant other or threaten my spouse or threaten my boyfriend or threaten my girlfriend or threaten my aunt or my uncle. They couldn't wreck my car. See, I didn't live there. So I decided to start threatening them. And that's what I did. Not a wise thing to do, but I did it anyway. I sort of believe sometimes you have to meet fire with fire, right? Nice guys sometimes don't even get a chance to get off the starting line. And when you're dealing with a criminal element, our judicial system is not fair. In fact, I went to law school. I'm not an attorney, but I studied law. And I found out in the years that I went to law school that the judicial system doesn't even care if it's right or wrong, good or bad, honorable or not. It only cares about what the law says. Period. End quote. That's it. And there is no reparations for victims. Oh, the criminals get out all the time. They get rehab. They get 3 hots in a cot. They even get sex and drugs in prison. But there's no reparations for the victims. So sometimes you just got to be the Dark Knight, You got to fight fire with fire. So I did, and had some very interesting altercations. We'll leave it at that. Now, I also started working on my political contacts because I knew all of the politicians in the area and in the city of Los Angeles, being a real estate broker for so many years and being a community activist for about 30 or 40 years prior to my run on human trafficking. So I knew everybody, and in fact, I grew up with a lot of them. So I started pressuring them, and I found that the only way that I could pressure them is to shame them through the media. And so because of my media contacts over the years of being in the entertainment business since I was about 5 or 6 years old, I was able to gather up all the news media, print, internet, channel 4, 2, 7, 11, 13, 52, the Latino channels, C.A.H.T, everybody. I was able to get them out there and do press conferences and shame the politicians. So we started getting the politicians involved, and we started to shame LAPD. And I went right to the top. Chief Charlie Beck was the police chief at the time, and Confetti Garcetti, Bend Over Beck I used to call him, for Confetti Garcetti, he still is the mayor. Thank goodness he's going away. Of course, all the city council, because the city council controls the budget for LAPD. That's how it's done here in Los Angeles. Well, city council was the area that I knew all the politicians. And so with all the politicians, I was able to pressure LAPD. With LAPD, I was able to pressure the politicians. I got the churches involved. I got the homeowners and the business involved because, remember I told you, I kind of fought fire with fire, and some of them actually saw me fighting fire with fire. And sometimes I would even run my camera from across the street fighting fire with fire. And so I could show people that this is what I'm doing. What are you going to do about it? I shamed people into rising to the occasion. And then I got involved with another area which I thought was really important, and that's a lot of the groups that were trying to do the same thing in other parts of the state. And so we were able to put a little coalition together, and I created this coalition called C.A.H.T, C-A-H-T, the Coalition Against Human Trafficking, which is still in existence, and I funded it out of my pocket. My partner and I funded it out of our own pockets. We're just now turned into a 501(c) corporation, nonprofit corporation, because it's getting expensive. So we were able then, over a 4-year period, 4.5 years, maybe 5, break the back of this systemic 100-year problem. We fought the pimps. We rescued the children. We had an opportunity to rescue at least a dozen kids under the age of 14. We stopped a couple of kidnappings. We got LAPD so involved that they created the Los Angeles Police Department Human Trafficking Task Force. We've got commendations from the mayor and the city council and LAPD, etc., and got a lot of news and a lot of print, a lot of TV about it, and a lot of internet and a lot of stories. And we were able then, as a team, together everybody achieves more, break the back of this horrific, perverted, deviant problem. Then I started talking at the John program, and these are guys that solicit prostitutes on the street, but find out that they're in a sting operation and they get caught. And in the city of Los Angeles, they have a one-time get-out-of-jail card free that you can go through this like Alcoholics Anonymous program for these perverts that solicit sex on the street and got caught in a sting. It's called the John program, and I spoke there for 2 years, and I was a closing speaker telling them about these issues. We were able collectively to break the backs. We did marches. We did banners. We confronted, had confrontation. We had lookouts. We had stakeouts. We had just hundreds and hundreds of people backing us up. The schools, the churches, everything. We did seminars on how to keep kids safe, how to teach parents what to look out for. We gave 800 numbers out. I mean, the whole 9 yards. And we were able to break the back of this horrific problem on the Lankershim corridor. Now, that was my introduction to the fighting of human trafficking. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, human traffickers are the most lowly life scum varmints that could ever live on the planet Earth. They are so disgusting. People that commit crime against children, well, in my opinion, don't deserve to live. There is no get out of jail card free. There is no rehabilitation. You go to jail and you die in jail. Better yet, in my fantasy, I wish I could pull the plug and get rid of them all because they don't deserve to live. Period. Anybody that is a warped brain and soul that wants to prey upon those that they can't prey upon. You know what I say to them, and I've said it to them when I used to go out there. I said, prey upon me. Don't prey upon a child. Why don't you prey upon me, Jesse T? Why don't you prey upon me, an adult male, who's willing to put it on the line? Why don't you come after me? Why don't you try to knock me on the head? Why don't you try to kidnap me? Why don't you try to make me do what you want me to do? No, you're a coward. You're a disgusting, sick coward. And you see this machete? And you see this machete? Well, 2 machetes do the job really good. I got to tell you something. These are barbaric people, and they need to be treated in a barbaric way. That is my feeling. And that's what I truly believe. Anybody that hurts children needs to be treated in a barbaric way, and their life needs to cease to exist. Please let me pull the trigger. Please let me pull the button. Please let me swing the axe. I've often said that if I had to go to hell, when I go to pearly gates, and God said to me, and St. Michael said, we got a task for you, Jesse T. And your task is to go to hell. I give you a sword and a shield. I want you to fight and destroy every human trafficker and person who ever existed on the planet Earth that hurt children, hurt them for life, hurt them severely, physically, mentally, spiritually, or socially. I want you to take them out. I would gladly take that ticket to the paradise of hell and live the rest of eternity with a sword and shield, fighting the awful, disgusting varmints that would do that to any child. No problem. If you could see what I've seen, if you could be on operations where LAPD busted a guy pimping a 13-year-old little girl that wasn't even from California, was from Florida. Because that's what they do. They kidnap them. They knock them out in the van. 3 or 4, 5, 6 guys rape them on the way to the first house. They beat them up and rape them in the van. They drag them out to a house out in the middle of the desert. There's another 3 or 4 or 5 guys. They beat them, rape them, and fill them full of drugs. Don't let them eat. Don't let them clean. Deny them all of the very basics of life. Threaten them that they know where they live, and they'll kill their families, kill their sons, kill their daughters, kill their sisters and brothers, their mom and dad, kill their dog, burn their house down. Then they take them out to the state line, and they cross the line, and they beat them and rape them and drug them again. Then they take them to Florida, and they put them on the street. They put them on the internet, in the hotels, and they don't let them see news. Don't let them read papers. Don't let them have a phone. Don't let them go to the doctor. They beat them and rape them. They put them on the street. 13-year-old little boys and girls. 13-year-old little girls and boys. FBI statistics say this. When a child is kidnapped, they have 7 years of life left. 7 years, and then they're dead. Forever lost and never found again by their family and loved ones. And they will never see the light of day. Not only do they do that, then they ferry him to Texas, Nevada, and California. That's the tri-state. Human trafficking. They take little babies and they kill them. And they take their organs and sell them to satanic organizations, and also they sell them to people who need organs. Children who are young teenagers. They kill them because their organs are relatively grown. These are the kind of horrific things that they do. I've seen a lot of this. It's horrible. And it makes you cry. It makes your heart hurt. It's unimaginable. Whatever you think the worst is, multiply it times 1,000, and you might be scratching the surface. Human trafficking is at epidemic levels in our country and in this world. And, can you figure out why? I mean, really, is there a reason why people like to do this with little children and like to do this to little children? Now, in the Lankershim corridor, we kind of cleaned that problem up. I moved over to Sepulveda Boulevard in Parthenia and Plummer, and that area has gotten cleaned up too, not just by myself, but of a big influence from LAPD and everybody involved. That area has gotten cleaned up too. But there are areas all over Southern California. There are prostitute houses all over the San Fernando Valley. We have the pedophile rings in Washington, D.C. Yes, the pedophile rings in Washington, D.C. The politicians, the men and women of great power and control. They have pedophile rings where they go and they do horrendous acts with young little children. Oh, there's lots of articles and lots of video and lots of reporting about this. It's unbelievable. You may not believe it. You may think, oh, this is just Jesse T taking a political point of view. No, it's not. I invite you to go to a couple of websites. But first, I want you to go and understand something about this. Hollywood has a problem too. They have these prostitution houses all over Hollywood. It's unbelievable. And people like Oprah Winfrey know about it. These movie stars know about it. Of course they know about it. They're in on it. Many of them are. There's a lot of weird varmints in this town. A lot of sick, disgusting people in this town of Los Angeles and Hollywood. And there's a lot of sick, disgusting people in politics. It's come to the point where, you just can't trust anybody for anything. I invite you to go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Coalition Against Human Trafficking. Okay, facebook.com/Coalition Against Human Trafficking. I posted up a video from YouTube about the HRC kill teams and the HRC snuff videos. Listen, watch that video. I posted up something about George H.W. Bush. You may believe it or not, but you got to understand something. Would you have ever believed that Kevin Spacey was a perverted deviant? And there's word now that he's going to drop the bomb on Clinton and all those people who used to take that billionaire's jet to the sex island that billionaire had for decades. If Kevin Spacey goes down, he's saying he's going to drop the bomb on that. Would you ever believe he was caught in sexual perversity with young boys? Would you have ever believed that the Disney actor Stoney Westmoreland was fired after he was arrested for child pornography? You're talking about an A-lister actor for Disney. Would you ever believe that? How about the sex trafficking victim who just got 51 years in prison because she killed the guy who was raping her? The sex trafficker. How twisted is our system? See, our system is twisted, man. It's unbelievable. The Coalition Against Human Trafficking. It's unbelievable, the numbers, okay? 14 to 17,000 estimated number of people trafficked into the United States each year. 50% of all people trafficked in the United States each year are children. These are low statistics. 800,000 people are trafficked worldwide. East Asia, Pacific, and the Latino regions, the Central American regions, is a region that is the largest source of people who are trafficked into the U.S. each year. 46% of them, get forced into slavery and prostitution. Yeah, 46%. What about these church workers? Now, look at the Catholic Church is the most evil entity that was ever created after Rome fell. Okay? It just is. There's a lot of reasons why the Catholic Church is what it is and does what it does. I've spoke about that many times and provided information for you to go do some research on. But short to say, the Catholic Church is a deviant institution because all these cardinals and bishops and priests that commit pedophilia against the boys in their churches, they never get any justice handed out to them. They get a slap on the hand. And the only time they do get any justice is when the media and the public get up in arms. I tell you, this rocks your faith in God. Because you got to ask yourself, while these little boys are getting raped, sodomized, horrendously destroyed psychologically, physically, a lot of them commit suicide when they get older. You talk about PTSD. Why would God, the omnipotent one, allow so many of these priests, cardinals, and bishops, so many of these people in the Muslim religion, to hurt children, to sodomize, to rape them, babies, infants, children? Why? There's a God? I thought God's supposed to love children. Jesus is supposed to love children. Well, did Jesus come help them while they're getting raped in the back of the church? It's horrible. What about all these aliens coming over the border now, raping little girls? I just go to my website, facebook.com/Coalition Against Human Trafficking. Story after story after story after story. What about the 123 missing children found? Kids were found through sex trafficking investigations. More than 120 missing children in Michigan were found. What about that? What about the police that arrested 20 people after a 4-day child sex sting operation? And look at them. They're white, black, brown, old, young, fat, skinny, hair, no hair. I'm looking at them. It's disgusting. Pedophile priest with HIV who raped 30 children is forgiven by the church. Disgusting. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. 238 arrested in major Hollywood pedophilia ring bust. 238 in Hollywood arrested just a couple of months ago. How come you didn't hear about that? What about Tony Cardenas? Allegedly, our congressman who you guys voted to put back in office in Congress today. He's allegedly had sexual activity with a 14-year-old on a campaign trail, or 16-year-old. It's got to be proven. It's disgusting. What about the UN? They're normalizing pedophilia. Yeah. Investigate that, ladies and gentlemen. There's a lawsuit that accuses Catholic Church bishops of sex abuse and their cover-ups. How about the 700 bodies, harvested children found in Malaysia? Harvested young children. Trafficking. How about the Archbishop's computer that contained over 100,000 child porn files? How about the 34-year-old man who impregnated a 10-year-old girl? Gets 100 years in prison. And the list goes on and 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 on. This is why I fight human trafficking. This is why I'm known as the Hunter. Took some time off in 2018. Putting together a new team. And then the Hunter is going to be back on the street. So I'm going to give you fair warning if you're one of these kind of people, men or women. I will find you. Or somebody like me will. Your time is up. Do you understand me? Because I'm looking for you. Nobody hurts children. Nobody. Period. Join my cause, ladies and gentlemen. Go to my page, facebook.com/Coalition Against Human Trafficking. Send me a message. Follow it. Share it. Please do. I need your help. We need to put this to bed. When I mean put to bed, I mean we need to take these human traffickers and we need to put them in a bed of nails. My name is Jesse T. You may not like me. You may think a lot of things about me. But the one thing that you hope happens is that a guy like me shows up to help somebody you know, or maybe somebody that you love. Because that's the right thing to do.
How will you feel the power of the kingdom? How will you feel the power of How will you feel the power of the kingdom? Now will you feel the power of the kingdom?
The Jesse T Show, every Monday through Friday, right here from 5 to 6. Good to have you along with me. Check it out on our podcast right now at YouTube. Jesse Torero.
How will you feel the power of
LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, the power of voices, Pinterest, Blogger, Tumblr, and 25 other social media TV networks. Tomorrow, we're talking real estate. We're going to be talking real estate now again on Fridays. Going to help you make millions and millions of dollars. The show is brought to you by Win-Win-Win. Real estate, loans, and notary firm. Give them a call at 1-800-866. 1-800-684-8699. 1-800-684-8699. Check them out at www.mrsouljesset.com.
Now you feel the power of
The Brown Beauty is off duty. See ya!